everybody, and welcome to Geeking Out at the Tower podcast. I'm your host, Andrew, and today I'm joined by...
Seb. Keith.
Kevin.
Wendell.
Awesome, and today we're going to have a review of Hobbit, the Battle of the Five Armies.
Nope.
Yes,
No.
yes we will.
It's a one-sided discussion.
We'll see about that.
Ouch.
And if we have time to get to it, we will discuss holiday specials. But before that, let's get to some news. So it seems that Viola Davis has been cast as Amanda Waller in DC's Suicide Squad movie.
I still think Oprah should have done it would have been a better choice.
No, I'm kind of glad they didn't go with Oprah.
Have you seen How to Get Away with Murder? If you've seen that, you can see how she could actually play that kind of character.
I've seen Viola Davis in quite a few things, and yeah, she's got that commanding, don't mess with me. Yeah.
I like it. I like it. She's a black woman playing a black role. That's how it's supposed to be. Good work, Hollywood.
So, wait.
I don't know, I think
No,
So Oprah's not a black...
No, because Oprah has like a very hey guys, how are you?
Yeah,
Buy the
that's-
thing I'm promoting image. If she puts forth her I am domineering,
Where is that?
and this
Okay,
is what I
wait.
really am behind the scenes, everyone's gonna we're just not the Oprah we know. We're all scared.
Where was the whole, hey guys, look, I'm super happy in the color purple.
I am just going
Yeah, but
off
she's not
of
being domineering
everyone
until-
bashed Christian
this is
Bale because
black.
he's playing an Arab character even though he's white. And the news has been a lot of why can't they cast people for the race that they're playing? And this is
Should've
a good
got a real
call.
Israel right.
Well,
Israel
actually, my issue with the whole Exodus thing, and I don't really have an issue with it, is that they cast all the white people for all the big roles, and they put all the minorities in all the shitty roles, like
Servant.
slave, servant, backwasher, foot washer, random poor person.
I don't see what's the problem. Seems like it should be.
So yeah, the answer is don't go see the Exodus. Go see this movie when it comes out.
We have nothing to
We
go
have
on
nothing to
other
go
than the
on.
fact that Viola Davis has been cast, and they cast a whole
Good
bunch of heavy
casting
hitters.
makes a lot of work.
Good job. Now, I hope they have a script and it goes well with
Yes.
the director and everything.
Because there's only so much good acting can do.
Yes, exactly.
Any
A
other
shit
thoughts?
show is a shit show, even if it's wrapped in gold.
Well, I'm just saying that I hope it doesn't go the way of the Green Lantern movie, where they had
Oh.
Angela Bassett as Amanda Waller, and that movie was just bad all
She was
around.
supposed to be Amanda Waller?
That was Amanda Waller!
That did not...
There you go. You see?
Nothing like her.
That's what happens when you get the people that make No Ordinary
Wow.
Family to make the Green Lantern.
I love how you keep bringing that show up. No one's seen that show, Wendell. No one's seen that show.
And that's
Stop
who they
promoting
got.
bad shows.
And that's who they got to make the Green Lantern.
Every
That's a
time,
very specific point I am making.
every time the Green Lantern comes up, you have to bring up No Ordinary Family.
I'm so disappointed.
And in other news, it seems that Sony has decided to cancel the interview based on the fact that most of the theaters decided to pull out from showing it due to concerns.
Bomb threats.
Well, what happened was Sony sent out a memo to the theater owners, and they said, if you do not want to show it, that's fine. And then a lot of big theater chains in the States decided to not show it, and then Sony finally pulled the plug across the board.
Yeah.
It was basically a move for Sony to not immediately pull the plug on for them, but everyone else to kind of do it too. And then it's like, oh yeah, okay, we'll do it too.
I think they were pretty much screwed either way, no matter how they went about it. And it's not, it's a Seth Rogen, James Franco movie.
Exactly.
It's not even like...
This is sad. World War III will happen because of a Seth Rogen
Because
and
of two
James
stoners.
Franco movie.
Whoever thought two stoners would be the cause of World War III.
Not even because of This Is the End, because of the interview.
I just don't like where it's spiraling. Like now they
Yeah.
also canceled Piang Piang or whatever it's called.
What's his name? Stephen Carell's movie that he was going to do?
Yeah.
Regency cut.
Yeah.
Regency and Fox.
And then there's people are like, oh, if we can't show the interview, we're going to show Team America.
And
And
then,
then the people who produced that was
Paramount.
like, no, you can't
Yeah.
do that. We don't want to get
Yeah.
in the shitstorm.
but it's what I think is really funny is that just goes to show you how up to technology his son is. Because, Kim Jong-il, right?
Woon.
No, the dad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Il, no?
Yeah, because he's
Yeah,
the illest.
And so, Team America came out, and he's like, look at my big collection of VHSs. I love this. I love movies. I love VHSs. And he hasn't gotten past DVDs. Now his son, Un, comes in, and he's like, yeah, let's get attacks out there, hackers to get our stuff together, and blah, 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 blah. And they're, stopping one movie that makes him look bad, when he already does it very well himself. All by himself.
Where was he for those SNL sketches?
I don't know. Where was he when everyone was making fun of him on the internet? The crazy...
Can I eat?
No, was it Can I night?
Yes.
Or what about the other one? Like,
No.
there's a weird cartoon when he comes in. It's like it's supposed to be like this whole college humor thing.
Oh, yeah, it's college humor, yeah.
Yeah, it's college humor, and you're like,
Yeah,
oh,
they're
it's
pretty
super
good.
awesome. Yeah.
Who was his best friend that was a basketball player?
Dennis Rodman.
Dennis Rodman.
But he was best friends with the illest and I
But they love
got nothing
basketball.
for
They
So,
love basketball over there. So
Do you
that's
think
why.
they should have pulled the movie?
No, you're giving in to terrorism and you're removing people's freedom to express themselves.
I don't mind that they removed them from theaters, but it should be online, and it's not yet. And boo.
No, I think they shouldn't have pulled it, but I like that a lot of smaller theaters who are just like, no, I'll show it. I'll do even the premiere here. Come, I think one was it not LA, but
There was one in Toronto and one in maybe Montreal, but those are unconfirmed because I don't
No.
think anyone really has those
Okay,
movies.
both
has the
of
movie
both
yet.
of the articles for both of them had the exact
They're very
same title.
sketchy, yeah.
They're both sketchy, and they both included a dude that says, "We'll host it, but we don't have a venue, and we don't have the movie."
no.
So that's just like ridiculous.
The
Yeah,
one-
Kevin's talking about like actual.
Yeah.
Then I don't know. Sorry.
There was actual ones that weren't part of the major three chains that were like, we'll still show it.
Yeah.
And Sony was like, pulling it from everybody.
But before that, you had places that were like, no, we'll still show it with you. Let's go for it. No, I think it should be shown. To be honest, I'm interested to see what the movie's like, but we'll see if it ever comes out and when it does.
I think Sony kind of had a rock and a hard place kind of thing. They're a company
They're right next to North.
Yeah, exactly.
They're right
They're a
next to North
Japanese
Korea.
company first and foremost, and so they're right next to North Korea.
Yeah, but Japan's never given a care about Korea in the first place to begin with.
There's strained ties over there, and then
course.
also Korea is like good with China, so Japan and China and all that. There's a lot of political stuff on their side that we can't really know about. Like,
Geopolitics,
firsthand.
fun times.
Yeah, and so basically it was in Japan's ball court the whole time, and so they actually came down. They were trying to censor the movie a lot and all that kind of stuff. So they pulled the plug, and I don't really blame them, and I can't blame them.
I think that, yeah, they were pretty much damned if they did and damned if they didn't.
Mhm.
Honestly, I can say I was probably gonna see the movie, maybe not right away, maybe on...
Definitely not in theaters.
Probably not in theaters. Like you mentioned, it seemed like it was very much a Pineapple Express, which,
A Pineapple Express, a Your Highness kind of deal from some people that actually got to see the premiere of it.
Yeah.
Or whatever they had, test screenings, that's what I mean.
Mhm.
And they're like, it's just potty humor and
Yeah,
Same
and
old, same
it works
old.
like the first few times, like Pineapple Express works because it was like,
Yeah,
kind
it was
of out of nowhere. And you expect the same thing. It doesn't really work anymore, but I would probably have seen it on like DVD or Blu-ray later on. But this whole thing around it, I mean, like, yeah, they kind of had to because you can't take that risk, but I think also they should at least get it out there in some way, shape, or
I don't
form.
know. America doesn't negotiate with terrorists. They gave in pretty easily in this one.
No, Obama
Well, you
said
can't-
boo Sony.
No, you can't look at it as America giving in.
Yeah,
it
like
was
I
still
said,
one
Japan.
company.
It was a corporate.
It was a corporation giving in.
Yeah.
Actually, it was a bunch of corporations giving in. And they got called out on it because you heard about George Clooney's open letter to how everyone sucks about that.
yeah.
Because he was just like,
And it's not
Sony
open
got
letter
hacked, we
about
should
Monumental
like stand by them, and no one wanted to sign his petition.
Mhm.
Then again, online petitions never work anyway, but the whole fact that no one even bothered, even as a
Project
pity.
Rainfall.
Any other news anyone would like to bring up?
The rock blues singer Joe Cocker passed away. He was 70 years old. He passed away from cancer. So if some people don't know who that is, he did the cover of the Beatles' I Get a Little Help from My Friends, which was the intro for the 80s show Wonder Years. He also did Woman to Woman. That song was sampled for California. Yeah. So that was sampled for Dr. Dre and Tupac's California Love. And he also did the 80s song Up Where We Belong. One of the legends passes away. The world's a little sadder. Before Christmas, sadly.
And in
Thanks,
slightly,
Wendell.
And in slightly less morbid news, it was Seb's birthday a few days ago, so happy birthday, Seb.
No thanks.
You're 1 foot closer to the grave.
Aren't we all? Every passing minute, every passing second, nanosecond, we're all getting closer to death.
Wow, how depressing this
bring it
interview
back
is
around to
going.
And hopefully this episode will get out by Christmas, so at least there'll be some good news. It'll be Christmas.
But
for
it won't
whoever
be the
spells it.
Hobbit.
Here comes Debbie, the downer.
So join us in the next segment where we'll be geeking around.
Hey, this is Anthony Bowling, voices of such characters as Yuka in Fairy Tail, Ukyo in Samurai 7, and Alciel in The Devil is a Part-Timer, along with many, many more. And right now you are listening to Geeking Out at the Tower podcast.
And we're back! So this is the Geeking Around segment where we will talk about things geeky or otherwise going around in the geekosphere. So Keith, what have you been geeking about?
Praise the sun, I finally defeated Dragon Age Inquisition.
Oh, wow.
I am so underwhelmed.
How so, Keith?
Well, I killed the 10 dragons. I
Tell me
got all
more.
the shards,
Oh.
and then I went to go face the final bad guy, and he glitched out.
Jacques.
He just halfway through, he stopped fighting, he just decided to hop up and down, and I just held my little attack button until he died.
So if people obviously can't see this. Keith is saying he's hopping up and down. He lifts his hands up to his sides,
Yeah,
kind of
he's
like
like-
a balance way.
He's like praising the sun. He's like, yeah, you can't take me? Whatever. I don't need to fight back. And then he died. And I was like, shittiest boss fight ever.
You guys could only sound more scripted if I actually wrote a script for
And
you.
then,
Yeah.
and then
That's more my fault.
I looked online to find out what was supposed to happen, and apparently there was going to be a cutscene with an awesome dragon fight. Didn't get to see it because it glitched out. Just garbage.
So it's
All
game
right,
of the year. So it's game of the year, right?
Game of the year. I was like, only my luck. 96 hours, and then the worst boss fight I've ever had.
So
Like-
wait. So are you gonna try to redo that part?
Oh, I did, and I got like the actual dragon in the boss fight.
And was it
But-
awesome? Was it awesome?
It was way better, but still super underwhelmed the first time because it was just like, oh, whatever, shoot.
That's Keith looking at the bright side of life.
That's right. And I also marathoned all of Marco Polo on Netflix. It's an amazing show. You should all watch it. Fortunately, none of these scrubs here have seen it, so I'm not going to talk much
I
about
keep
it.
seeing the ads.
So what's the premise?
The premise.
It's Marco Polo.
The
God.
premise is Marco Polo and his dad go to Mongolia. His dad gets caught by being a douchebag, and he really wants to keep this trades going. So he gives up Marco Polo to the Khan. He's like, take my
Is it
son.
Kublai Khan?
It's one of the Khans.
Wow, Dad of the Year.
Yeah, exactly. Dad like just gave up his son, and then his son impresses the Khan so much, and then the Khan's like, yeah, you go do this, you go do that, you go to this, and then Marco Polo basically learns the way of the Mongols while fucking up and getting a lot of people dead.
And then also wushu happens.
Yeah, there's some kung fu, there's some martial arts, there's a blind kung fu master, there's a bunch of
Spoilers.
kung fu.
No, there's a lot of ads on
Yeah,
YouTube
well, I
right
did
now.
see it.
yeah,
Yeah,
there's
they're all over YouTube.
There's a match between a tiger master and a grasshopper master. There's a lot of sweet fighting. There's lots of boob shots because there's, Khan totally likes his women and he has lots of concubines. Yeah.
And I guess the great thing about it being on Netflix is that you can just watch the entire thing because it all came out a week ago?
2 weeks ago, I think.
Oh, okay.
It's good to be the Khan.
But, I started it, and the next thing I knew it was 3 a.m., and I'm 8 episodes in, and I'm like, what the hell just happened?
Welcome to the marathon spiral.
Yeah,
So I can watch
anyways,
one more
it totally
episode.
made up for the shittiness of my Dragon Age ending.
That's good.
I've been reading a new blog that came out. Well, I guess not new. It's been out for a year.
Is it Homestead?
No, it's not.
Is that a blog?
It started off sort of bloggy.
I never understood.
Anyways,
They
continue.
want to consider themselves a website, but it's very bloggy. It's called Wait But Why, and pretty much you have the main writer. I forget his name.
Amazing.
Yes, but his content is amazing, so we don't care about his name. He takes abstract ideas and he's very pragmatic about it and the way he writes. So he makes everything seem more logical. Oh, these are your group of friends. This is who you have to drop.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I gotta check this website just to
And the thing is,
see what I need to drop in my.
It's not just about social things.
We all
He
know
also talks about science and more psychology. So it's a bit all over the place.
Some history from what I can see.
Yeah, and he makes his own drawings and they're little stick man.
So it's like XD, what's that one?
XKCD.
Is it kind of like that or not like that?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Really?
It's
Okay.
it's like a very nerdy, geeky webcomic where they'll basically have funny strips.
So sometimes he talks about mathematical equations and explains them in the strip, or sometimes he talks about
Well,
different
it's
concepts.
mostly text with some pictures.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's not very XKCD
No, that's it.
in terms of actual presentation.
It's a lot of reading, but it's very interesting and some of the subjects he touches. Okay, he goes in pretty deep. And I came out of reading some of these feeling a bit enlightened actually, and then I would advise people to read it because it's really interesting. I've also marathon all of Reboot. It was amazing.
So Kevin, what have you been up to?
Enlighten us.
I finished up Avatar: The Legend of Korra. They had a 2-episode finale. They ended it with 13 episodes for this book. It ended up really good. They did the actions really well with the series. I enjoyed it a lot. Not to spoil anything, but I wouldn't say it's better than The Last Airbender, but it is worth watching. I will most likely rewatch The Last Airbender and Korra to have a better idea as to how things progress, but I probably want to talk about this more detail later, and especially once everybody's at least gotten a chance to watch it and not have any too much spoilers, but really worth it. Did a great job. And anybody who's interested in watching Avatar: The Last Airbender or Legend of Korra, worth watching all of it from the start
Even
to finish.
season 2?
I was gonna say season 2 of Legend of Korra.
Season 2 was the
Not
weakest,
good.
but it helped with the progression of how things went on for the other seasons. They do a good job bringing it back and kind of explaining it. And as much as I didn't like how it was split up like one villain per season, as opposed to in The Last Airbender where like it was a whole story for all of it, at the very least they brought it together as to like how it advanced Korra and how she became the Avatar that she is now. So definitely worth it.
Okay, so as someone who's only seen Last Airbender and not Korra, are the fire people still dicks and is Doku still in it?
No, it's a lot less brought up actually. The Fire Nation's like mentioned every so often to either help or like be sort of still a presence, but they are really taking a back seat completely.
I'll put it this way, Keith. There's a meme called Iroh Man.
Oh god, not watching it. I'm out.
What? It's actually pretty cool. Basically, one of the fire guy comes in and he basically uses his fire bending as like jet pulsars.
Yeah, you
He's
lost
pretty
me.
badass. He's pretty badass. No, but the Fire Nation comes in and they're no longer like the big bad. There are other things. It's more political. It's more character driven.
Damn it, because the Fire
And it's
Nation
almost-
was my favorite.
And it was almost like a bad guy for each element. Like season 2 was water, season 3 was air, and this one was earth. So it was
Well, season 3 was technically all 4.
Captain
but-
Planet style?
Like the big bad was air, but all the main villains
The-
used
the-
all 4 elements.
Yeah, the leader was air
Yeah.
because like the air nomads were bad.
It's definitely worth a watch. I have issues with the show, but I'll get into that in another time. But it's definitely worth a watch. I would never say don't watch Legend of Korra.
You heard it here first. Don't watch The Legend of Korra.
No, he said he
I
never
wouldn't.
wouldn't say that.
So I wouldn't say
Wait, that's too many negatives. I'm confused.
Exactly.
Andrew, can you repeat what you said?
Watch Legend of Korra.
Thank you.
I guess what I've been doing is I've been rewatching the IT Crowd amongst all the other Christmas specials that I watch around this time of the year. And so basically, it's about this non-computer person, and mind you, this show came out in the mid-2000s, so back before computers were big, and that whole stereotype of people like in a certain like 30 to 40 range still didn't really get computers kind of thing going on.
So you can just write whatever you want.
And you could write whatever you want, but it was so she gets a job as the head of IT, and then she manages 2 IT nerds,
Who are
Roy and
useless.
Maurice. Well, most of the problems are like they'll pick up the phone and be like, "Have you tried turning it off and on again?" Yes. Have you tried plugging it in? Oh, is it plugged in?
Yeah, it's the
It's like
first you always go to.
yeah, that's the kind of jokes, but it's a lot more like they delve into their like random personal things. Like they have a Facebook episode. They
So it's
have
like Big Bang Theory.
But better.
No.
Oh,
No.
but better. But better?
No,
Or not even?
not even.
way.
Kevin's a
better
big
than
fan of Big
Theory.
Bang, so
I'll put it this way.
I like it way better.
I'll put it this way.
But it's
a-
very awkward humor. Richard
It's
Ayoade
British.
is
By the way,
awkward
it's
humor.
British.
It's
It's
Ah.
British. So what's great about it is that I'm already on season. I'm about to watch season 4. Each season has 6 episodes, but 6 really good episodes per season. The characters are funny. The situations they get to are hilarious. I mean, that the first season's a bit more slapsticky, but later on it gets like just like how weird these guys are in general, and how the manager is sort of becoming like them, even though she still knows very little about computers. In season 3, there's an episode where she wins Employee of the Month, and you find out that it's picked by, there's a random box and he just pulls a person's picture out of a box, and then they have to give a speech. So they give her another box. Like the IT guys give her a box and say, "This is the internet," and she gives her speech and it's like, "If the internet destroys, would cause mass hysteria and things like that." And lo and behold, a fight breaks out, it crushes the box, and everyone in the room, because mind you, anyone 30 or above at this point in time, or 40 and above, did not know what computers were about, or the internet, so they all thought that that was the internet, and they all start to go into this crazy riot. Anyway, the show is definitely worth a watch. I would say get the first episode, might not be for everybody, but I laugh uproariously each time I watch it, and I think it's like the 4th time I've watched it since, I started watching it way
It's
back when.
Inception.
and you can enjoy all these comedy hijinks on BBC Three.
Or 2, or 1, or 4.
But
Probably
yeah.
not 3.
But I'm looking
actually.
forward to the season 4 because they have basically not a real D&D episode, but they have a segment where they do play D&D, and it's very heartwarming, it's very touching, and it's hilarious all at the same time.
I heard that they had tried to do an American version, still using one of the characters or something.
Yeah,
like
so
that.
they brought over the Maurice character because he's pretty much hilarious because of how, like, his funny, high-pitched voice and how socially inept he is. And then they tried using Joel McHale from Community fame, but the show flopped.
Did they make a pilot or?
They made a pilot. I've seen the pilot.
Mhm.
It's okay. It's pretty much the first episode from the British series, almost shot for shot.
It's been big where they've been doing that. They've taken a lot of like British shows and tried to Americanize them. I mean,
but with comedy, it doesn't always work so well.
I mean,
with the
but
dramas,
a
for
lot
sure.
of them are pretty good. Shameless, pretty good.
Is that a
Well,
comedy?
they've been doing it for years though.
Yeah, Shameless is pretty funny. It's drama comedy. And then there's the vampire one,
Oh, you're thinking of Being Human.
Being Human.
Yeah.
But they've actually been doing that for the longest time. Actually, one of the
Yeah, well,
first
they
ones.
did it Queer as Folk too.
No, I mean one of the first ones
In-betweeners?
is one of the first ones is Sanford and Son actually. So that is way far back, like 70s. So they've been doing it since then.
I can't,
And
wait, I can't wait till they Americanize Downton Abbey.
Not gonna happen. But actually, what I like about the show is that last year they had a finale. So the show ended in, I think, like 2009 or like 2008. There was no episodes for like the longest time, and then last year
That's
they
British shows.
Yeah, I know, but it was nice that they all managed to get like careers past the show.
Have you heard of Red Dwarf and their last season coming out like how many years after?
I know, but for me, it was just like it was nice because season 4 kind of ends, and you're like, I want more. The finale episode is a nice finale. It's very much what the show was, how you can imagine the show would be now, and it ends it where you're kind of like, I want more, but I'm actually happy that it ended here. I'm looking forward to catching up to that.
I find the Brits are really good at ending shows. They don't drag them on.
Well, it's a different television broadcast system over there too. So
You don't believe in beating the dead horse system? I think it's pretty good. Get glue out of it.
wow. And Wendell, what have you been up to?
Oh, what I've been up to? I went to go see the newest Chris Rock movie called Top 5. And just a little quick summary. He's a very famous and popular comedian that's been making these movies, these like sequel movies called Hammy the Bear, and now he wants to be taken seriously. And Rosario Dawson plays a interviewer from the New York Times that's interviewing him, and it just goes along with like the hijinks kind of thing. It's kind of similar to a Woody Allen kind of movie kind of style, and this is like Chris Rock directing and writing a movie that he wanted to really put together and do. And I thought it was really fun. It was really good. The top 5 is referring to people's top 5 favorite rappers of all time, and so that theme kind of comes up here and there throughout the movie. And there's a lot of comedians in it, a lot of like of various race, and also a lot of different co-stars and stuff like that. And they show off like New York in a really indie film kind of way. And I really, really enjoyed the movie. It's probably one of the more adult movies that Chris Rock has been able to put together on his own. And the music direction was really good. And I actually enjoyed how it kind of played out. It kind of left it up in the air what he does in the end with his career and all the little weird stuff that's going on with him. It was definitely a fun watch, and I would definitely watch it again just to get a nice laugh out of it.
Ali's not here, but he said he didn't like it, or rather, he didn't believe in the hype that it got.
No, he didn't understand why the reviewers really liked it as much as they did, or why it got such high praise.
It's very much a reviewer's movie.
Yeah, like if you like seen Chris Rock in his movies and how it's
Dogma.
No, that wasn't his movie though. He just started it. His movies are like Head of State. Another one was I Think I Love My Wife and stuff like that. And so I think he could really direct, and I think he's kind of gotten a little bit better as an actor, but I think he still needs to work on that because in some scenes he looks very silly, like he's putting his hands over his eyes, being in shock, and it's like, that's not really how people would kind of act. But yeah, there's some like...
I think I do that all the time, like, oh my god,
Yeah.
Home Alone style.
He's kind of doing it Home Alone style. It's really bad.
That's why you're not an actor, Keith.
And something else that I did was I went and bought a bunch of Blu-rays and DVDs. So part of the stuff I got was Cowboy Bebop and Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes,
Nice.
Season 1 and 2 on Blu-ray. And I got Highlander, The Search for Vengeance, which is a anime movie. And it was directed by...
It wasn't the anime, like the cartoon Highlander movie where he was against that bad guy Highlander that had the black outfit.
No, it wasn't the 90s cartoon. if I
Damn
remember right.
it.
That was made in Europe.
That show was amazing.
Really?
I loved it, and they had the underwater one.
He was
and-
in red hair, right? He had
Yeah,
red
yeah,
hair.
yeah,
No,
yeah.
it wasn't that one. No, this one was directed by
Rob
Yoshi.
Zombie?
No, Yoshi.
Wait, for Mario? Amazing.
Yoshiaki.
Takawana.
No,
Kawajira.
Kawajiri. Thank you. And he's also directed Wicked City, Ninja Scroll, and
What's Ninja
Vampire Hunter D Bloodlust. So that's the kind of art style you're kind of wheelhouse.
Ninja Scroll is a movie that most people growing up in the early days of anime have seen. It was most teenage boys' first anime tips.
You guys are all older than me.
What's the story of Ninja Scroll? Is that what you're asking?
No.
Wait, there was a story?
Yeah.
No, I remember what the story is. It's not a very...
Because there's the assassin guy, and he just has to kill a bunch of crazy monsters.
It's
That's the story.
boobs.
No, I don't know if Seb's being serious or not.
I haven't seen it.
No, he hasn't seen it.
I've seen it.
I didn't know if you actually wanted a summary of the story.
Oh, it's pretty simple. Guy gets poisoned, and he basically...
By a lady.
a
Because
wandering-
ladies are
A
evil.
wandering Ronin named Jubei Kibogami gets dragged into a political war between two warring factions, and he's hired by one of the sides to figure out what's going on and assassinate all the assassins on a clan of ninjas on one side.
The B guy was amazing.
I like the blind swordsman.
Yeah, everyone likes the blind man, but that's just like
badass.
that's just too easy.
No,
that B guy was like concept craziness.
No, I actually liked the first fight with the rock guy. That was really good.
Yeah, but he
he
Rock died the worst kind of way.
Okay,
Well, no, but he gets bitten pretty hard. But then when he gives everybody else the message of this is who you're looking for, that was really cool. I'll lend you the movie.
Nice.
Just to pull it back a bit, the Highlander movie is like an anime as well?
It's an anime, yeah. It's an anime done by that guy in that style, and it technically counts. Some people would say it kind of counts into the canon of Highlander because it's
Like
done by
Duncan MacLeod Highlander.
Yeah, because he's the main character is from the MacLeods, but it goes into a completely different story altogether.
Third MacLeod.
Yeah, exactly.
How original.
But there can only be one.
No, but the thing is that
and it's going to be Raven.
But the thing is that it's also done by the same producer of all the Highlander movies, TV shows, and everything. So it's the same guy that produced it all. And I think that actual producer passed away like maybe 2 or 5
Bringer
years
of
ago.
Death. That is you today.
What?
Messenger of Doom.
No, I'm just saying
and
the guy
gloom
ties it and everything.
death.
It's the same producer.
Why can't you name a producer that's being born today instead?
I think Keith is very drunk on cold medicine today.
Did you really just say that?
Pass me the movie. Pass me the movie when you're done.
Wow.
I'd be interested in checking it out.
Wow.
No problem.
I didn't realize there's like a lot more Highlander stuff. I just remember the movie and the weird TV series that they had.
There was like
Which weird TV? Because there's 2.
Both.
The good one.
And then there's the cartoon that makes 3.
The cartoon I never saw.
oh, okay.
That one's
they
good.
made an NES game of that old cartoon one, the
Okay,
European
okay.
one.
Anything else anyone wants to bring up?
We're all gonna die one day. Thanks, Wendell.
This is the most festive episode ever.
I didn't say.
I'm gonna do my airing of grievances for Festivus on all you guys.
So join us in the next segment where we'll be having a review of The Hobbit, The Battle of the Five Armies. And we're back, and in this segment we'll be reviewing The Hobbit, The Battle of the Five Armies. So, what were your general opinions on it, Seb?
Meh.
Keith?
Wow. General opinions was that this was the worst Lord of the Rings movie that's been created up to date. Because I found it horrendous.
Actually, it's not the worst Lord of the Rings movie. It's actually a very good... Well, not very good. It's a good movie. And it's the best of the 3 Hobbits in the Hobbit trilogy.
Well, definitely not.
I definitely
not
think
the
so.
best.
No. Smog was the best of
Desolation
the
of
3.
Smog was the better of the 3.
What happened in it?
Well, there
Smog got to talk a whole lot.
That was
and
only
he
the last
super
20 minutes.
Badass.
Actually, that wasn't even the last 20 minutes. That was like in the last 20, 30 minutes.
And there was better fight scenes. There was
The
fun
whole
little
battle
jokes,
thing.
the battle, the introduction of characters that you actually liked,
Like,
and then they turned into shit.
Like Legolas.
Legolas was pretty badass
And
in
Legolas's girlfriend,
Loria.
Toriel.
Toria.
and all the other sweet elves.
So what did you like about the movie?
This movie, the newest one.
Yes, the newest one. What did you like about it?
I liked the first 5 minutes of the movie
Why? It was
because
so
there was
bad.
a dragon.
It was actually really good the first 5
Yeah, the
minutes.
first
No, I know,
5
it's
minutes. The first 5 minutes was like the second one. It was maybe a little CG.
Well,
but
first
it was,
20.
A little
But
CG.
it was actiony. It looked like a movie, and then the rest of it looked like a really we have no money whatsoever, so we're just gonna film a bunch of people not making appropriate faces as they walk through everything.
Those were very short sequences of
No,
people
it
walking.
went on forever, and the fight scenes and the choreography were bad. But what I liked about it was the Hobbit guy. His facial expressions were great.
Bilbo.
Greatness. Not even worth memorizing the people's names. That's what I thought of this movie.
What did you like about the movie, Seb?
I liked most of the acting, I have to say. I like the emotion that the characters portrayed as well. Elements of the story that I enjoy, I did enjoy some elements of the story. It's just that, in overall, I didn't find the movie to be as great as the second one, Desolation of Mog. It's an average movie, I have to say. It's not anything super about it. Nothing that really stands out to me.
I like that, like you guys have mentioned, the acting, especially Martin Freeman as Bilbo. He seems to bring his
best
A game to
character.
to that, and it is technically called The Hobbit anyway. So, but it's good that at first he was pretty much doing all these goofy faces because I don't want to be here, I don't want to be here. And as in the second movie, you can start seeing that he's starting to enjoy this trip. He's starting to get along with people. He actually cares for them, and he's actually bringing his A game acting to this entire franchise, and I really did like that about it. I don't think the choreography was that bad. There was some craziness in it, but I think that overall the fight sequences were pretty good in this movie as well.
I think maybe the one-on-one fight scenes were okay, but any time there was more than 3 people on the screen, the fight scenes looked like they hired a 6-year-old and they're like, okay, elf guy, wave your swords around like a crazy person and everyone will die. And they forgot to put on a blood filter, and I think that was just unacceptable. This was a war movie that had 0 blood.
It's a PG-13 movie.
13, you're allowed some blood.
And there was a lot of decapitation.
With no blood. It was oop, his head fall off.
But it's
the sword doesn't even reach the head and it falls off. It was not.
I don't feel like the blood was something that was necessary to add to the movie. I feel like the movie setting worked fine.
I think some of the elements were over the top when Thorin's cousin, I think it was Balin?
Yeah, oh, spoilers, by the way, just for warning. There will be spoilers in the review.
Just shows up and starts headbutting everyone and the orcs dies. Yeah, right.
Hey, he's hard-headed.
Yeah, fucking right. Look, you have a helmet. You're dead.
Also, with the super realism, some of the fight scenes look like someone just pressed fast forward. Or it was sort of like old school claymation where the people just move really awkwardly and just do, boop, fall.
That's it. IMAX and the 60 frames per second really didn't help the movie.
I think that's mostly your problem with it visually, is that you probably should have seen it on a regular screen. I honestly didn't have a problem with the hyper-realism given by the higher frame rate. I didn't think it added, but I don't think it detracted as much from it either.
Question, have they been doing the 60 frames per second for
all 3
the
movies?
Hobbits?
Yes. Because it was all filmed at the same time.
This wasn't done with the Lord of the Rings movies, right?
No.
Okay, so it's only been for the
technology
Hobbit.
wasn't
this is super new.
Okay, cool.
It was only for the Hobbit. They tried it. It didn't test well, and so they didn't do it with other movies. But
they're sticking with it?
Well, they filmed all 3 at the same time, so it was all filmed like that.
The thing is, the hyper-realism didn't really bother me because I'm a master PC gamer.
I am not a massive PC gamer, and it bothered me a lot. It looked crappy. And
Whoa. I can't believe you just said that. Anyway, you were saying?
So I'm saying it bothered me a little. The blood bothered me a lot. But really, there was characters that I really wanted dead, and they didn't die. And I think everyone who saw the movie knows who I'm talking about. And that's just telling a bad lesson to kids.
Wormtongue 0.5 because it's a prequel.
Oh god, that guy was so annoying and...
Yeah, honestly, that's probably something that might have been on the cutting room floor. It might show up in the extended editions that he dies. Who knows? But I think that there are all types in war anyway. Not everyone, like he says, is brave into going into war.
I don't mind that. But the fact is, he escaped death more time than a person in Final Destiny.
Final Destination?
Yeah, that movie. He escaped death more times than people in that movie. This guy cannot die, and he should die.
I thought he was going to die at some point, but it shows you that there's also some unfairness in war. Bad people do survive, good people do die. Crazy people go down a cart on a hill and knock into some giant orc and stab it.
And when all the wizard folk people gathered for that...
Same difference.
I
know.
And when all those wizard folk gathered, and then it just turned into a bad 90s light show, that was...
When Elrond...
That was just straight up
Galadriel
if I had whatever that disease is that causes you to epilepsy, pass out, that would be my point of walking out the movie, because that thing hurt my eyes.
I mean, seizuring out the movie.
Yeah.
No, it was definitely. It was
pretty bad. I thought at one point
trigger your epilepsy.
It didn't even look good. I wouldn't mind it if it quality, but this looked like a high school art class decided to put something together.
I'm just gonna put that out. What is good for you? Actually, just where would you put that line? Where would you put that line? I'm quite curious because the effects aren't horrible as you make him sound. So I'm just quite curious
Wait,
where you
no.
put that line.
That place that like I've enjoyed a lot of the CG, but that spot with Sauron's like the Eye of Sauron, it was complete and utter garbage. It was disgusting. I was watching it, flashing. I'm like, it's not necessary.
In the movie, the background's beautiful.
Well, it's New Zealand, obviously.
Yeah, and I think they did some work on there. Like, it wasn't just New Zealand; they added things to it. That I like, but like, it took me out of the movie. Like, I couldn't get into it. Like, it wasn't believable. I feel like it was more like comic book artist art thrown onto a screen rather than like you can't go hyper realism and then go like
Super cartoonish.
Start to super cartoonish. Like they didn't mix together.
No, that's it. Like that was probably just some bad editing.
What's
Like,
super cartoonish again? Are you still talking about the eye scene?
Yeah, the Eye of Sauron scene, which
where
was
it's basically him looping in on himself over and over again.
yes.
Yeah, but even when she was the girl when she was fighting him,
Yeah.
turned super cartoonish.
She does that in The Lord of the Rings, you know that, by the way, right?
I don't remember
When
that.
she gets all evil?
Yes.
Like, what's his name?
Well, no, there it's shown that because this is what happened in the... Okay, so a lot of
So
the
it's
Hobbit,
like-
this movie is setting
Setting
up
up.
things that do happen in The Lord of the Rings. You can start with The Hobbit and watch through the movies, and it will, like, link up a lot better than a lot of other prequels do. And this movie, a lot of that movie is setting that up. I think it's in The Fellowship of the Ring, when they go to the elf
Frodo
place.
says, "Hey, please take this burden off me," the ring, and she gets all
Yeah,
like
she-
evil elvish on
Yeah.
her,
Yeah.
and she kind of like, "No, that's your burden. I can't do that."
Yeah,
Yeah,
that.
because
Okay.
she's
Well,
already been
pretty
weakened.
pretty much when she unleashes her power.
Because she basically, like, sealed Sauron in that part. It's what is the implication of that. And that used up a lot of her power, and that's why she's so weak and so susceptible to the ring.
Anyways, I've liked all the other movies better. That's all. I'm not saying it's a horrible movie. I'm just saying out of the 6, I think this is the weakest.
Yeah.
I also found like I was not connected to the characters. I was connected to like 2 or 3 of them, and then the rest of them like I didn't care if they died or not.
I'll put it this way. How long has it been since you've seen the second movie?
I saw it 6-7 months ago.
Okay. I saw the movie the day before, and so I had that going for me that, you know, it's like, they're meant to be, I think, marathon all at the same time kind of thing. Like, the original, you kind of do forget about some of the people. Like, they did the same thing in The Lord of the Rings where they introduced a whole bunch of characters.
I watched.
And it's not until the extended editions where a lot of them actually do get character development either.
And
I
death
watched.
scenes.
I watched
Yeah.
it 3 weeks ago, and like I felt very underwhelmed with the movie.
Yeah, but he's talking about introducing a whole bunch
No,
of
I know.
characters.
But like, you know, as you're saying, marathoning it. I'm not saying I'm not gonna marathon The Hobbit at all because it's not worth me wasting an entire day on it.
Oh, I completely disagree. I think that now that all 3 are out, I'm actually looking forward to marathoning The Hobbit and then marathoning The Lord of the Rings another day. I feel like the Hobbit movies work, all 3, as standalone as well as a connector to the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Maybe it's just that I remember liking The Lord of the Rings so much more.
But how long ago has it been since you've seen The Lord of the
A
Rings?
couple of years.
This year.
I'm not gonna lie. I remember liking it first time I watched it and the second time I watched it.
And the 3rd and 4th,
I
6th time.
don't want to watch The Hobbit again.
I'll put it this way. When I saw the first Hobbit movie, I was, okay, it's a bit long, and maybe I'm not liking it as much as I liked Fellowship or Two Towers or Return of the King. But the second movie I really enjoyed. There's a lot of fun sequences in that. And the third movie had a lot of fun action sequences in it as well. So...
The thing is, they might put in great like action sequence, but like
What was the good action
Oh.
sequence? I don't remember.
a lot of the solo fights, one-on-one
Solo fights were nice,
fights, a lot of Legolas's action sequences were really fun. Even Toriel and getting in some action there, like kicking some butt, was pretty cool to see. So
like I said, there's some nice sequences, but you know, you can have nice shots, but it's not gonna make the movie any better.
But the thing is, if you're looking at war movies in general, it's just a muddled mess because that's what war is. When a bunch of people just run at each other, it becomes a mess. But a lot of the solo moments, I think, work very well.
Well, some of the solo moments were also, like I said, over the top.
Do you
Yeah.
think that if they recut all 3 of these movies into probably 2 movies,
Not even. I think
do you think it would work a lot
I
better?
think people can recut it to just 1 4-hour movie and people would be okay with that. Because right now, as it stands, it's like, I think about, 7.5 hours to watch the whole thing?
Maybe a bit more.
As long as you don't
if
get
you
the
don't count
extended
credits.
cut.
And the extended cuts add another, so it's like, 9 hours to watch all 3 movies.
But do you think you could do like a hyper fan cut?
Yeah,
And,
you
like,
could totally do a hyper fan cut
Yeah.
and people would be happy with that. I'd be happy with a hyper fan cut.
I'd be
But-
happy if they added blood and gore.
The thing is,
But that-
I want the battle scenes to be more like 300.
But-
That's what I want.
But,
Thanks,
I'm
Quentin Tarantino.
just trying to remember when in the Lord of the
Frank
Rings
Miller,
trilogy,
actually, but
if they actually
Seriously, Kevin.
No, Quentin Tarantino did a lot of blood movies too.
Yeah, he had bloody movies. But no, the thing I was going to point out was, did Lord of the Rings have a lot of blood? Or just orc blood? I think it had just a lot of orc blood.
Yeah, but this movie didn't have orc blood.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There was zero blood.
Well, it's because it would have been CG and it would have looked super fake, and then you'd just be
And then-
complaining about how super fake the orc blood
And then
was.
also...
But I think I would have enjoyed it more.
I don't think so. I think you
Right.
just complain about how fake the orc
I
blood
might
was.
complain about it, but I think I'd still enjoy it more than I did right now with nothing.
And also on top of that, a lot of PG-13 movies, they don't have blood in them. Like, if you look at any of the Marvel movies, they're all PG-13. There's no human blood going on. And on
There's
top of that...
scratches.
Yeah, they're scratches.
There's scratches, but not like, oh my god, blood, and oh my god,
No.
squid's coming out when I get shot.
Thank God.
Anyways, if you look at
there
ratings,
was a
blood
point.
usually doesn't get you pushed up. It's swearing and nudity, and this movie had no swearing.
No, it's blood.
The
as
blood
well.
does add to
Blood
it.
does.
A lot
It
of
has
blood.
nudity.
They would
Yeah,
have they would bring down the blood to like a minimum or just not as much.
The thing is, I don't think the blood would have helped the movie anymore.
I think it made the
yes.
battles more realistic.
yeah,
if
but
you're
I-
going for a hyper realistic, then
The
you should have.
No, they're not
real.
going for a hyper realism. When
It's
I say
seamless.
hyper realism, it's because you're at 60 frames per second. It feels hyper real because
It feels
it's
like
like
you're
watching an
watching a
HD
novella.
TV. And like, have you seen movies, right? Like movies filmed in the regular 30 frames per second, and then they put them on an HD TV, and you're looking, there's something
more,
feels off.
where more hertz are added. So
Exactly,
they'll have,
and those are
120.
artificially added. But I feel like
They'll
because it
fill
was
in the
filmed in
frames.
60, it doesn't feel.
But the
Well-
thing I was going to point out just real quick, original Lord of the Rings movie, there was a lot more practical effects going on. And
It's
then
early 2000s, but yeah.
Yeah,
So-
and then so now they just kind of filled in everything with 3D, so probably that's where you're getting to like the pull out from, where it's just like,
Yeah.
I'm not feeling like all these characters are actually there fighting each other.
Because if you go back, I mean, a lot of the Two Towers and Return of the King takes place in a lot of, like, basically the city fight. A lot of confined spaces where they can just fit enough to make it look like there's more. This army on the outside was CG.
Yeah, but like even if you look at the movie, this one, they had in-city fight, and those weren't very good, in my opinion.
Well, it's because it was a bunch of untrained Lake Town people trying to fight. People who haven't really been trained to fight versus, you know,
but
a bunch
these
of
orcs
warriors.
were trained to fight, and they
And
get wrecked.
Well, they're orcs. They're pretty weak. They're pretty weak.
Orcs are usually not that weak.
Well, usually those orcs are because that's before the Uruk show up, before Uruk-hai.
Yeah.
So they're weaker orcs that usually aren't that great on
Anyways,
sunlight. But
If you
whatever.
want to see this movie, go for it. I don't suggest IMAX $20 prices, maybe Tuesday prices, maybe $2.50 cinema prices.
would you recommend IMAX or just
No,
regular?
no. After watching it in IMAX,
Honestly,
I would not recommend.
I would put
IMAX.
it this way. I think I would recommend IMAX if you haven't seen it in that kind of, just to do it at least once. Because I know I wanted to see it at least in the hyper high frame rate at least once, just because they're not going to do it again, and it's kind of just an interesting concept to see. I saw it, I'm like, you know what? It takes a bit to get used to, but once you get used to it, it feels like you're watching a movie.
Does it add or take away with these extra
Honestly,
things?
I don't think it does either.
I thought it took away.
I don't
That's
think
just me.
I guess in some ways people can feel like the CG looks more like it's CG, but I feel like, well, you know, you're watching it in, like, if it was just like watching a good, like if you watched it on your HD TV.
I think they did a good job with the white work.
So.
I can't think of a bad. That orc guy was pretty.
I'm gonna, I think this is pretty fitting. To quote what Bilbo said, I'm gonna paraphrase it, okay? It felt thin, sort of stretched, like butter scraped over too much bread. 3 meds out of 5.
My final thoughts are like, man, Legolas, you're so badass. Even more badass than you are later on. It makes me wonder what happened.
Well,
But-
it's easy because they had to put some action in the movie, or else it was gonna be garbage.
No, I know what they did, but it's just hilarious.
He was a younger man then.
But it's just the crazy things he
With a
does.
fatter face.
No, it's just the crazy things that he does makes it kind of, it's just very fun to watch, and it's just like so ridiculous that you're just like, it's like in I think the Two Towers when he's sliding down
Yeah,
the
the
orc
shield.
shield and just
Yeah.
shooting people, and you're just like, what?
Yeah, exactly.
And it's just like, that's still really cool, but what? And that's what a lot of his action was. That's what everyone liked in that movie about Legolas. Let's just do that for this movie, and that's what a lot of his character
That's
was.
all it did.
He comes in, he basically wrecks a whole bunch of people in a really cool way, and you're just like, damn, Legolas, damn. Also,
And then he broods.
yeah.
Oh, Daddy doesn't love me.
Well, when your girlfriend falls for a dwarf.
Why doesn't he ever want to talk about my mom?
Who is my mother?
I know she died here, but I don't know why.
And then I was like, the Eagles. The Eagles come in, and they're just like, USA, World War II,
Yeah.
dropping the
What's
bomb.
up with that? How come he didn't ask the Eagles to drop Bilbo off at the end?
Because-
Made him walk. Made him ride his stupid donkey.
What's easy because they want to connect through the trip, you know. Back.
Have you seen how powerful those eagles are? They don't have to. They can do whatever the f they want.
They can do what they want. Ain't nobody got time for that.
And by the way, that's the
Eagles-
Fifth Army, in case you were wondering.
That was the Fifth Army?
That was
Yeah.
the Fifth Army.
No, it was the elves, the orcs,
The
shitty
dwarves,
town, yeah.
The dwarfs, the humans, and the eagles.
No, it was the goblins. There was 2 orc armies.
Yeah, there was the orcs and the goblins. The eagles, they just
The eagles
do
is
that.
the Fifth Army. That's what's implied in the book also.
Is it?
Yes.
It's been a while, but yeah, it could be.
And what was with that wizard that fell from the eagles and turned into a bear? I didn't get his.
That was a
Well,
shapeshifter
yeah,
that you
was
met
a
in the
shapeshifter.
second movie.
Yeah.
He was a shitty person. Why a bear? Turn into something cool.
Well, because he can only turn into a bear.
That's what he turned into in the second movie.
That's his-
exactly.
his
You should have done
character.
a new trick.
Wasn't that your favorite movie? The second one?
Yo, Smog was the best, including his interview at Colbert.
Interview was better than the movie.
Anyway, I would give the movie...
How many goofies out of 10?
4 out of 5.
How many Legolas hearts? I love you, Legolas. You're pretty splurging on him right now, you know.
Because he was freaking great during the movie.
So how many Legolas out of 10?
For man Legolas, I did not know you could do that out of 5.
I already said my piece. 3 mayonnaise out of 5.
I already said my piece, $2.50 cinema.
Out of $20. Watch out.
There are obviously some varying opinions. If you like The Hobbit, if you like Lord of the Rings, you should at least give it a shot.
If you like Lord of the Rings, well, if you love Lord of the Rings, you might like The Hobbit.
I think if you
I've
go
heard it
in-
both ways. Some people who love, like, the whole Middle Earth will love this movie. If you're okay with Middle Earth, you'll probably like the movie. If you like the Lord of the Rings movie, you'll probably like these movies.
I love Middle Earth. I don't love The Hobbit.
I think you shouldn't get hyped for this movie and you go in there with no preconceptions, you might enjoy it.
Why would you go in with preconceptions? You did see the first 2.
Yeah, but I like the second one.
You make no sense.
And I always hope for the best. I'm an optimist.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, right.
I am an optimist. That's why I get so hateful when I'm let down all the time.
Okay there, buddy. So join us in the next segment where we'll be talking about some of our favorite holiday specials.
It's the Festivus for the rest of us.
This is Austin St. John. I play Jason, the original Red Ranger from television's Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Right now, I am geeking out at the Tower Podcast. Check it out, man. It's Morphin time.
So to celebrate the holiday season, we decided to go through some of our favorite holiday, Christmas, Hanukkah, Festivus, Kwanzaa specials that we enjoyed from TV, movies, and whatnot. So I guess we'll start with Kevin.
Die at the movie. It's just a great movie if you're with the family and you really don't want to really be at the family gathering or if there's just too much to do. It's one of those good movies where there's action, you know everybody will be interested in watching it. Yeah, it's not an actual Christmas special, but it takes place in Christmas, so it's worth it. But the actual special I'd like to bring up is from a show called Bumpin' the Night. And they made a Christmas special that was an hour long, which just pretty much follows this character called Bumpy?
Mr. Bumpy.
Mr. Bumpy.
Mr. Bumpy.
And Squishy.
And Squishy. And they're trying...
Squishington.
And they're just trying to steal, like, Santa Claus's bag of toys. Like, they go through, like, different parts of the world. They end up meeting new people. And they make it to Santa Claus's lair or something like that.
The North Pole.
They're armed with candy cane rockets. It just goes all over the place. But at the time, Bumpin' the Night was one of those shows. It was weird and it was interesting to... as a kid, it was really interesting to see just the different kind of setups of, like, the doll, Squishington from the bathtub.
Molly the doll.
Yeah, Molly the doll.
Yeah.
Just, like, the different characters of it. And it was neat to see kind of, like, a very kind of mature... For this show on top of it, to have like kind of like a really good message in the end, where like for a character that was really like all about me, to like really end on a good note, and even like the big bad monster from the closet was like, yeah, we fight all the time, like it doesn't talk, but he's just like roo, 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 roo. Molly translate, and he gives a sock to Bumpy. Bumpy loves dirty socks.
Yeah, he loves eating
That's
the
what he
socks.
eats.
He's the monster underneath your bed that eats your sock,
Yeah.
basically.
It was a really good special. It was really neat. It worked really well with the shows that I saw around that time. And the special, especially an hour-long one where it was only half an hour for the show, was really well done.
Also, one thing I want to point out about that special is that they do a lot of Christmas carols, but they rewrite them to work within the show. You have a lot of different ones. They do like the dreidel song, but it's like done differently and pretty cool.
Yeah, they did a good job with a lot of musical, a lot of like snippets. I think the only part I would say that I didn't like is like when they go through like the final song, they're just re-showing the whole show all over again really quickly, and I'm like, so I could have just watched that part and it would have been the whole show? Boo. But other than that, it's a good special.
I was the one that brought up Bump in the Night, and then Kevin snipered it for me for this episode. So I went all out.
Poor Wendell.
I went all out and remembered a really good one called Mr. Bean's Christmas.
So good.
So in this one, if you remember the star, Rowan Atkinson plays the titular character, Mr. Bean, and he's basically doing his foibles and his hijinks during Christmas time. And so in this episode, you see him shopping for Christmas presents.
Is this the one where he gets his head stuck in a turkey?
Yes.
Okay.
It's totally that one. So he gets his Christmas turkey, gets Christmas shopping done. He meets up with his girlfriend, and he gets home and he's like getting ready for Christmas Day and everything. And he invites his girlfriend over, and she's expecting a big present from him, and gets sorely disappointed.
She like highly indicates it during their shopping thing.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, I know what she wants, and it's like completely
I mean, I'm sure people have seen it, but I don't want to get into it because it's actually a really short watch, and it's actually a really, really good episode and good bits that happen in Mr. Bean. I also wanted to bring up Rise of the Guardians, and we got into a little argument about is it really a Christmas movie because it actually takes place
in April?
during the Easter season.
In April,
but there are a lot of Christmas elements in it that takes place in the North Pole. They're in Santa's workshop. You see the elves. You see the Yetis that actually help him out, that do most of the work.
I love that. I watched it recently when you brought that up, and I was just like, it's just this whole joke of like, we pretend that the elves are helping, and they're just like electrocuting themselves, and Santa's like, good job.
Yeah.
But Santa's kind of a bit of a dick, because that Yeti just has to keep on painting toys different colors.
No, not just Santa. Also the Easter Bunny. I'll just say this little scene. There's like running gag where a Yeti paints all the toys blue, and then Santa's like, no, paint it red. And then you see him pan back, and he's got a million of them painted already, and he's like, ah. And then they go and help out the Easter Bunny, and the Easter Bunny's painting all the eggs red, and then Easter Bunny comes out, he's like, no, red's too Christmassy, you need to paint it blue. And he pans back again, and he's like, a million of eggs, and he's like, come on. It was really fun for, a kid's 3D movie by DreamWorks. It was done really well. The only thing I would have to complain about is the kids' models. I guess their faces either kind of look very similar across all the kids.
I don't know, that bully girl didn't look similar to the...
No, she did not. Cupcake.
Cupcake. What a great name.
One thing that was really interesting about Cupcake is that one of her background posters is like in Korean. So I was like, oh my goodness, there must be like some crazy, super powerful mecha. What was her favorite thing that she liked to look at? Unicorn, like manga or whatever she loves. So that came out of Korea. So it's, like that was one of the little interesting things in the backgrounds I saw. So I thought it was pretty cool, like telling kids to like believe in these holiday spirits as well as the Tooth Fairy and stuff like that. And I liked how they interact with the kids and get them in on the action as well. And I would like to say that the Sandman reminds me of a Happy Gara from Naruto.
I will say, though, that the movie centers around Jack Frost.
Yeah.
And
it's his origin story and him joining the Guardians, basically.
But I did like how you had all the characters work together. It wasn't just like, oh, well, no, Easter Bunny, do your own thing. They really were working together. And I actually really liked the villain. They did a good job.
Boogeyman?
Yeah, the Boogeyman.
What's his name? Shade? What's his name? I forgot his name.
Something.
Yeah.
But like they really did a good job with the character. The character doesn't like get full blown like powerful. You see like almost immediately he's being overwhelmed by the Guardians, but then still finds a way to gain more power. Without spoiling that much, actually, they do a good job with transitioning like how they all grow up, the reasons why certain things are happening, and why they're progressing. It was a really good movie.
I did.
Here's something for you, Kevin. If you have an egg, it's half spoiled. Are you still gonna eat it because it's not spoiled?
What?
I get the analogy. I get the analogy. It wasn't the great one.
The one thing that I didn't really like about the movie was the Tooth Fairy was by far the weakest of the bunch, and she was female, and I thought maybe that's a little stereotypical. That was the only thing, because I really liked the movie.
I don't know.
But I found like Tooth Fairy was like, if she wasn't there, it wouldn't have made a difference.
And it was like anti-feminism?
Yeah.
Hopefully. I think that because she was weakened, and plus, I think if she had all of her little fairy helpers, they would have done like way more damage. But since that was the first person he went after, and she only had one at that point.
It's okay. Disney made up for it with Frozen afterwards.
So it was basically like to be very honest, it was basically like DreamWorks' Avengers movie.
Yeah, but it was basically like the boys' club's great, and then the Tooth Fairy, the one female character, was like, I need rescue.
This movie came out in 2012, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
If I remember right.
Brave, then Frozen. Then...
Yeah, because like.
Otherwise, this movie was great.
But I think like he definitely made a tactical thing and attacked the Tooth Fairy first.
So at the end of the movie, do they go into space?
No, they do not go into space. One thing I really liked was that when you get to see the boogeyman's lair, there's like a broken down bed, and then his lair is underneath the bed. Like it's a touch I didn't catch, and it was only towards the end. I was like, oh, I get it.
I chose the movie that I probably watched the most as a kid because it was on every Christmas, and that was The Boy Who Dreamed Christmas. And it's a 30-minute Christmas special. It starts off like all 90s show where it's real life. Kid goes to sleep, and all of a sudden he gets transported into a cartoon world where Nihilus the Sandman takes him to the North Pole to meet his hero, Santa Claus. And he gets there, and Santa Claus is just singing songs about how all the kids want too much, so he can't handle the workload. So he made a robot that turned evil to deal with all the Christmas.
Beware, technology's gonna kill us.
And really, to be fair, in the movie, the robot wasn't that bad. He was like, my prerogative is to make sure every kid gets every toy they wanted. So I'm going to do it, and I'm going to be dicks to anyone that gets in my way, because no one else matters. And then the kid's like, no, I only want one toy, because I want Santa Claus to deliver it, not Toy Master giving me everything on my list. Boo hoo hoo. And then stuff happens.
Both kids.
How come the kid like decided to like become on Santa's side? Like I'm a little bit miffed on that part. Like,
well,
was it believable or was it like
So like
You're killing
he shows up at Santa's workshop. The Sandman
with his giant list, right?
Santa already has it, you know.
Oh, okay.
And he shows up, and the Sandman, because it's a dream, was like, get ready, you're going to see like the most amazing thing ever, everything's going to be working, and you get there, and the workshop is like full of cobwebs, the elves are doing nothing, and Santa looks like he's about to cry. And then he's like, Santa, what happened? He's like, oh, I'll show you the toy workshop, you know, from the evil robot.
And it looked like a crazy factory,
yeah,
right?
It was super cool, but the evil robot was like, to enter, you have to say, like, I am the master of all, and then Santa like, you're the master of all. He's like, what was that?
Like, you really goad Santa on, basically.
Yeah. Like, just like, this guy's a dick.
Yeah.
Well, this robot's a dick.
And so this kid just basically realizes, like, wow,
It's true. Everyone wants more, and they should just only want one thing. And to be honest, I'm a greedy bastard. I was with the toy master. I want more.
No surprises there.
I find that the premise of like a robotic Santa has come up a lot.
But it wasn't a robotic Santa. It was a clown.
Yeah.
A scary clown that Santa built to help him.
Okay, but it was still like an automaton that was built.
Yeah, it was fake.
I
Just
feel
like
like
Futurama.
Yeah, I feel that this was done often though, and
Futurama's one of them.
yeah, Futurama, the Mrs. Claus, I think did it as well for with Tim Allen.
The best one is
That was a toy Santa more, wasn't it?
the best one is Space
Still
Santa
robot.
from Invader Zim.
Oh lord.
So yeah, I just feel like that motif is being like used a little too often.
Yeah, but this one was made in the 90s. I think it beat most of the things you just named.
Yeah, I think
Pretty
so.
much.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of those came out either in the late 90s or the early 2000s. Although at least a few that you named anyway.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like it was a fad for a little bit.
Yeah. It was also the fad of like everyone that's not Disney trying to make cartoons where they sing. Because there's some songs in here, and not all of them are the best. But yeah, that was my choice.
Mine are sitcoms mostly, especially Christmas episodes, such as It's Always Sunny Christmas, where the gang. Well, we pretty much realized what the gang's Christmas were like. Mac would go from house to house with his family when he was a kid, just robbing presents from other people, but he didn't know that was the thing. Because then he's like, but when we came back to my house, there would be no present under the tree. So that's why everybody goes into each other's houses and takes whatever they want. And Charlie would get his presents from like a bunch of Santa Clauses that would come into his house, but it was pretty much just like his mom prostituting herself so that he could get presents. But he didn't realize, he says like, oh, it's so hazy, and you see in the flashback he's just like sniffing glue. And Sweet D and Dennis, pretty much Frank, okay, instead of giving them presents, he buys them for himself and just like ruins everything. He buys a Lamborghini, which is like Dennis's dream, and he just like puts the wrong gas in and just like does everything wrong that you're supposed to do with a car. Buys like a super expensive purse for Sweet D, fills it with like unwrapped chocolates and stuff. Then they're trying to like teach him a lesson by doing more or less like a Christmas Carol on him, but it doesn't work.
It's pretty horrible.
It's always sunny.
You see,
that's not even the tip.
You see that into Vito's butt. Because he's in the couch at some point, okay, where it's like for the Christmas present phase. It's a leather couch, so you see him come out like Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, the second one, you know, when he's coming out of the rhino.
Yeah.
It's pretty much Danny DeVito doing that on a leather couch.
Wow.
It's so good.
Were there any others that you would like
Oh,
to mention
there's
from
so
the
many,
sitcoms?
like, Community, Christmas specials, like,
All three of them?
all three of
Did they do a fifth one?
I'm not sure if they did a fifth
Oh yeah,
one.
they did. The one with in the gas leak year, as people call it. The one with Malcolm McDowell. That one was
Oh yeah,
also
sure, when they
pretty-
kidnapped the...
Yeah, that one's pretty good.
And they kidnapped too?
Well, in the first one, they have a religion shouldn't be your definer for the holiday season when it comes to being friends.
And there's a
Right.
fight.
And then there's a huge fight, and then they all sing PC songs.
Oh, okay.
And then the second one, it's all claymation.
Claymation, yeah.
Yeah, I
And
remember
that one was
one.
fun with the original music and everything.
Third one is the ripoff, like the Glee
The meaning of
ripoff.
Christmas is like lost, by the way.
I would.
Yeah, because it's kind of disappointing.
No, it's
It's
like
kind of a letdown.
yeah,
one? Yeah.
it
Which
has
one's let
has
down?
potential. Lost season
No.
1. Sorry.
Yeah.
No, I mean of Community, the Community Christmas specials. Which one is like Lost?
No.
No, it's just at the
meaning of
present at
Christmas
the
is
end. The meaning of
lost.
Christmas.
He's going searching for the meaning of Christmas in claymation form, and it turns out that it's lost. It's like so much potential, but ultimately
it's a letdown.
ultimately
okay.
let down. But that one's pretty fun, and they did that all in stop motion.
Oh, what was cool about that one was like when you watch the end credits and
Yeah.
you see it's them looking at a TV show
Yeah.
together, and like,
Well,
but you see them in the TV, like in the reflection of the TV.
Well, they later on in
Yeah.
season, like later on in the season or in later seasons, they do reference the fact that he thought that they were claymation.
Yeah.
And so they all know it's from his perspective, they're claymation. It's only
Yeah.
him who sees the claymation,
Right.
except for like the end sequence.
Yeah, which one also?
or the
Oh my god, I'm claymation too!
Or remember Christmas Story from the first one, where basically they
Chris-
decide to dress up one of the characters in Christmas decorations while singing "Christmas Story" to Christmas tree. And then the third one, they have
It's a Glee rip. Like,
the Glee parody
I would.
satire.
It's a Glee satire. I wouldn't say a ripoff because they actually do their own
yeah,
original
no,
songs.
they make original songs,
Yeah.
which is great.
Jesus Christ is born.
Jesus Christ!
Cut the
Thank you, 90 Santa.
Oh,
Cut the cake, cut the cake,
cut the
big
cake, oh Lord.
or Baby Boomer Santa. Or my favorite is
Ain't
Boopy
heard you wanted
Christmas.
Christmas.
Boopy doopy doop boop sex.
You know, you're getting a lot of diminishing returns on this song.
What's it?
Actually, that was a great episode.
When I heard that last part with Annie, oh man, I did not want any part of her after that. It ruined everything.
Until like the next episode.
Yeah,
She
yeah.
was like,
It
hot
really
again.
ruined it. And I was like, oh man, I have to rethink this.
And then how Britta sucks at singing.
Oh, it was so good. And how like the music director like trashed her
It's
super
like,
hard.
yeah, and it's like, I will kill you. Or it's like, there could be another bus crash.
There could be another bus
I
accident.
mean, there could be figuratively another, like...
Pretty much that's how the first Glee Club died.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
pretty great.
But seriously, guys, what the heck is nationals?
No, regionals.
Regionals, what is that? I don't even understand that either.
Okay, honest. So, actually, I was thinking about it today, and it's really not that hard to define.
We go to regionals, then semi-national regionals, to go to state regionals.
Yeah, I think that's how it really is.
Uh-huh.
In Glee, it's really simple. Sectionals is you compete against people who live in like your neighborhood.
Right.
Regionals are you compete against people who are like in your city.
Uh-huh.
And then nationals, you just go to nationals where you compete against people in the states.
Oh, okay.
And that's basically the breakdown for the show. But I think how it really does break down is like how they say it. So there's like semi-regionals, and then Midwestern semi-regional regionals, and then the semi-regional Western sectional regionals. It's kind of great. And then in the fourth one, they have a gift exchange where they kidnap Malcolm
Malcolm
McDowell, who was their
Okay.
teacher, to get a better grade.
Oh,
and then he
right.
starts playing mind games with them, and it's a great episode. Those are a great watch. I rewatch them every year.
But for the Glee one, I think that point, like I think the old character, I forgot his
Chevy
name.
Chase.
Chevy Chase's character,
Pierce.
Yeah.
Pierce is supposed to be like if someone his age is watching Glee,
Yeah.
and they constantly bring up regionals, that's like a
Yeah.
point. He's like, I don't understand what that is,
Yeah.
and then
Nobody does.
no one ever explains what it is in the show.
No one knows what regional is. Also, they do the rap.
Oh,
Yeah.
Jehovah's
Yeah.
secret witness.
Yeah, where he
or
has to
something.
become the secret agent, just like
Yeah, yeah.
infiltrate Christmas.
Anyway, those are some great Christmas specials.
There's the Friends Christmas with the Holiday Armadillo, which is probably the only special that actually touches like a bit of Hanukkah.
I think there's a few specials, but
Yeah, well, there's probably more, but
Yeah.
like Friends is very high up there. Everybody's seen it.
Aren't like two of the characters Jewish?
Yes.
the brother and sister.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
Monica
okay.
and
Ross and
Ross.
Rachel.
Yeah.
No, sorry, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, Monica and Ross.
I don't even remember that, to be very honest.
Pretty much, he's like he wants to get a Santa outfit because his plan of like just doing Hanukkah didn't work. But he goes to rent a Santa outfit, but it's like 3 days before Christmas, and there's no more. So he asked for like something that's seasonal. Comes up with with an armadillo costume. He's like, I'm the holiday armadillo. I've been sent from Santa because I take care of the mid and lower west.
Wow. Poor Ross.
And then obviously Seinfeld Festivus, so good.
As if
It's on the
this
23rd.
Happy Festivus.
Just Frank being himself.
Or happy belated Festivus.
So if I were to say to you, Merry Christmas, you would tell me in return, a Festivus for the rest of us.
Yeah, it's a Festivus for the rest of us. Because it's great, because it's pretty much... Frank tells a backstory of how he came up with the idea. Like, he goes to get a doll for George. But someone else is taking it from him, and so there's like a little fight, and the doll breaks. So it's like, I'm done with Christmas and commercialism and the religion and like religion's aspect. So I'm just gonna make my own.
And now people celebrate it. People actively celebrate this.
When I
That's
say
how
the
powerful
thing is,
Seinfeld was.
Festivus was actually something that one of the writers actually lived through. Okay,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
his dad did it, and it's just like it brought it into the mainstream.
Some of the best comedy does come from real life.
So it's interesting. Imagine if one of the writers was like, yeah, I actually do celebrate Kwanzaa, and that was the thing instead of Festivus. Would Kwanzaa be more accepted than
Probably.
everyone being like, what is it?
It was the 90s. There weren't really black writers.
No, but I'm just saying though, imagine if.
Imagine.
Imagine it.
Well, there was that Arthur episode that does actually focus on all the different religious.
Even Festivus.
Well, no.
Oh.
No, but they did the whole Kwanzaa, Hanukkah.
But just to wrap up the Festivus thing. So,
You have your airings of like airing of grievances. So you pretty much just like tell everyone off. Pretty much that's what Frank does.
Isn't that what he does on a regular basis anyway?
No, I know, but this is a special occasion where nobody speaks, and he just like goes from person to person, telling how much they ruined his life that year. And then Festivus doesn't end until like the end of the Feast of Strength, where you have to pin him down. But like the whole reason like they got into Festivus is just because George received a Christmas like present from his boss, and it was like a donation to a charity. So he's like, that's a great idea. I'm just gonna make my own charity called the Human Fund, and instead of giving presents to people that work in the office, I'm just gonna give them these Christmas cards. The boss is like, I'll donate $10,000 to it. But then he finds out that it's not real. So George is like, it's because the religion I follow doesn't permit us to buy presents and all that. It's called Festivus. So he brings his boss, Mr. Kruger, in.
And then he purposely had to have a big dinner for Festivus with his dad.
Yeah, and like Kramer just like
Goes
being
all
himself and just goes all in. And at the end is like, he's really big on it and like, anyways, Frank, your holiday is a little bit like, cuckoo. He leaves at the end after hyping it up so much. The sitcom episodes, like the main ones, you should probably watch.
Oh yeah, a lot of the sitcom ones tend to at least throw a little spin on humor, if not making it a bit dark sometimes. But they do have some
Always
really,
Sunny.
Yeah, but they also it also can be very hilarious at the same time. So I do like a bunch of those. I guess the ones I'm gonna talk about are my personal favorite, the one I watch every Christmas, a Charlie Brown Christmas special.
Yes, because nobody can get enough of Linus preaching.
That heavy religion.
It's nice, it's short, it's a good 20, 25 minutes. It came out way back when, so it does have a lot of, there is some religious tones because that's what the religious climate was back then. But overall, it's just a nice message of
peace, love, and happiness.
Well, it's Christmas about being a time for caring about other people and giving people chances, even blockheads like Charlie Brown.
And magic jazz hands that fix everything.
Yes.
Oh, but you got, you mean magic, like, where everyone just swarms something and like, changes it?
And
Yeah.
fixes it.
Snoopy wins the whole decorating your lawn contest with his doghouse, and oh man, just like the soundtrack is amazing to it as well by Vince Guaraldi.
Yeah,
the
very
jazz
jazzy.
soundtrack.
Definitely a good album to get to
Yes.
listen to Christmas.
Even if you don't watch the special, the soundtrack
music is
itself
very
is
memorable.
just great by itself, even without the special. That's actually, I think, why I started watching it in the first place, because I heard the music first.
Like the intro.
Yeah, Christmas time is here.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
good.
So yeah, they have that. Oh man, I really like that one.
You know what? Actually, my aunt gave me that as a present, and like she gave us a blanket also.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
And that tree, I mean, like, no matter how you look at it, Charlie Brown was, a blockhead for buying that tree.
It's
but
the best tree.
But you can understand why he did it, and it was nice that even Charlie Brown does get his moments every now and then with the group.
I love how you can buy that tree at like Home Depot every year for
Well,
like
yeah,
20
welcome to commercialization.
But it's funny because it comes with the little blanket as well. It gets wrapped around the it's funny.
So I really enjoy that one a lot. I definitely try to see it. Actually, I see it every year. And then another one I want to bring up, which is a little bit more contemporary and it has its whole set of original music, which is a lot of fun and playing on the songs some new songs, and it's a Phineas and Ferb Christmas Vacation. And so Phineas and Ferb are two kids who during the summer have madcap adventures and do crazy things. They have a platypus who's a secret agent who faces off against a guy named Doofenshmirtz. So basically what happens is the evil scientist doesn't hate Christmas, but for some reason a bunch of carolers come and annoy him to where he turns on this evil machine he invented called a Naughtinator, making the whole town being naughty. And since there's a last minute call for being naughty, they all get left off of Santa's list. So Phineas and Ferb have to basically go around with the help of a few of Santa's elves and save Christmas for the town of Danville in the tri-state area. So it's a lot of little fun like that. It's very heartwarming. The songs are very fun. They even have an extended Christmas album where they take songs like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and add like a rock mix. They do a twist on like Good King Wenceslas. A lot of fun. I really enjoy that. I really enjoy the music from it. It's a Disney show. You should definitely check it out. And you can watch it without having even seen the show. But it does help if you've seen the show. Any honorable mentions you guys would like to put out there?
The best Christmas movie ever, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
I would argue Jingle All the Way.
Arnold
Jingle All the
Schwarzenegger.
Way. In that.
It's true.
That one's best. But I wanted to give out an honorable mention to Saved, which Wendell saw with Macaulay Culkin.
Oh, that was so good.
It's so good. It got bad scores, but it's so good.
It's actually really good. It's Macaulay Culkin and Mandy Moore in it.
Nandy Moore and the girl from Weeds.
Yes. Oh, wow. She was that young?
Yeah.
No,
she was the mother.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and basically they go to a Christian school.
In a Christian community.
In a Christian community. And this girl is with her boyfriend in a pool, swimming, and they're like, we're going to tell secrets underwater. And he confesses to her that she's gay.
That he's gay.
Yeah, that he's gay. With the shock from that, she hits her head, and she has a dream that Jesus comes and rescues her and tells her to save Dean. So she believes to save Dean, she'll sleep with him. Doesn't work. She gets pregnant, and then hijinks ensue because she's at an all-Catholic school where you can't. And she sort of has, she loses her faith, and there are Mandy Moore's a psycho.
Oh yeah,
it was her trying to do something different from her good girl image at the time, and
not
I
a
like
walk
that movie.
and not a walk to remember.
Yeah.
And Patrick Fugit was in it.
Who's that again?
He was the skateboard kid, the Jesus son.
Oh, okay.
It's definitely it's a good movie, and
it's hilarious.
Yeah,
and
good call.
It's Christmassy.
It is Christmas, yeah. We do talk about the Immaculate Inception a lot.
Conception.
My honorable mention is for those who want that extended movie feel after Die Hard, Die Hard 2. Still a Christmas movie. Well, it's a Christmas
season. It's a movie that happens at Christmas.
So again,
even then, very loosely.
It's a Christmas party. In the Yamato.
That's the first one.
That's the first one.
The second one, he's just stuck in an airport.
It's a Christmas airport.
Not even.
They're going to Norfolk, okay?
If you finish the first movie and the family is still a bit rowdy, pop in the second Die Hard movie.
It makes me wonder how bad your family dinners are that you're watching Die Hard as your Christmas movie.
Actually, I have good family dinners. I just
Doesn't
like
someone
Die
get
Hard.
stabbed in the eye with an icicle in that movie?
Good time.
Dear Lord.
When art imitates life.
So, my honorable mention is the Will Vitten's claymation Christmas celebration. So, around in the 80s, the California Raisins were a big deal.
Yes.
And so, this animation company...
I still don't know why.
I had some of the toys, I don't know why.
And so, this was the animation house that made the California Raisins and also a bunch of other shows. And so it's their Christmas special where they're talking about what Christmas is about, and they're doing musical numbers and stuff like that. And it's definitely something you should try to track down and watch. And also I want to bring up Boondocks Christmas episode where the main character Huey puts on a play about Black Jesus, and he talks about,
and he goes all crazy.
Oh, he talks about the actual nativity scene and when it actually happened and what scholars actually think.
Black Jesus.
And what actually state. And then also Riley gets his revenge on Santa because he didn't get his 20-inch rims. That's for Christmas. And Santa's going to pay what he owes.
And remember, these are, 10, 12-year-old kids.
Yeah, exactly.
Very violent 10 to 12-year-old kids.
Yeah, and no one has Santa's back.
Yeah. I guess a few of the ones I'll throw out there. Home Alone.
Yes!
That one.
Which Home Alone?
Well, both actually. They actually, those are two you could watch back to back. They're great Christmas movies. They're very heartwarming. They're not they can be super sappy, but I feel like they put on just enough smulch there that it doesn't feel overdone.
Right.
It feels very realistic. At least from the mother's perspective.
Right.
A lot of the crazy hijinks that he does perform, bit out there, but and to be fair, those are the kind of hijinks that will perpetrate the rest of the 90s.
Yeah.
Every kids movie had to have some kind of Home Alone-ish type sequence, but beyond even just the crazy things that this kid, who is somewhat of a genius, figured out to do to make booby trap his whole home, there is some realism to how he would kind of react to a whole situation and what happens, and it's just a fun movie. Now, the first two, the other ones, 3, 4, 5,
I was gonna say
can
3.
go F themselves.
3 was awful.
not
Something about a
good.
microchip.
I don't know what you're talking about. There was only 2 movies.
One thing I want to bring up about the second movie is the 2 things that were awesome about it was the talkback, the actual recorder he had, and Tim Curry.
Tim Curry, indeed.
And what's his name? Rob Schneider wasn't annoying yet.
Yeah, it's true. He was one of.
Oh
he was
yeah,
the one getting.
it was a
all his-
very early role for him.
He has very early role, and he wasn't getting
Well, he was-
tiresome or annoying yet.
Well, he wasn't the main character.
No, he was very
I
slapsticky. Though.
think this is before he got in with the Sandler crew.
Yeah.
Yes.
Probably, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but definitely the Home Alone. A little short mentions to very magical Mickey Christmas, I think is the title. It's basically an anthology story. One involves Huey, Louie, and Dewey wishing that Christmas could be every day. And so it's basically Groundhog's Day
Yeah.
for them over and over. And so it starts with them enjoying it and then getting bored and then basically actively ruining it and then actually realizing that was wrong and then having an actual nice Christmas and realizing that Christmas is special because it comes around once a year.
That sounds very reminiscent of like Sesame Street's Merry Christmas to Elmo, where basically he does the same thing, and you actually see everybody celebrating Christmas in summertime, in fall, and et cetera, et cetera.
Oh, but in this one, it's literally the same day over and over again.
Oh, okay, no, in that one they literally celebrate
It's just-
every day.
No,
of the year.
I've seen things where it's like every day is just Christmas, like that Fairly Odd Parents episode where every day is just Christmas because for the most special.
So wait, so instead of saying, "Oh, every day is special," so you cherish every day, it's like only Christmas is special and it comes once a day. Once a
No,
year.
I'm saying Christmas is special
Because
it comes once a year.
Yeah, but every day only comes once in your lifetime. Just saying, every moment should be special.
Anyway, so that
Why
was.
do you hate on Christmas so much, Seb?
I'm loving on life.
Anyway, so that's the first. The second one is Goofy and Max trying to show Max that Santa could still be real, and how a kid who reaches a certain age starts to lose faith in Santa Claus, and how a parent tries to rekindle that love for Christmas in other ways and still tries to go for it. Also has a heartwarming end. And I think the third and final story is a Gift of the Magi type story with Mickey and Minnie. So they're both poor, they're both trying to get each other the gift that they want. So, like, Minnie wants this really nice chain for her pendant, and Mickey wants, like, I forget what he wants.
A
And,
boombox.
yeah, and so he wants a really nice box for his harmonica or something.
Oh, okay.
It's close.
So they trade in the thing that they hold precious, which is the pendant and the harmonica, to each get the other thing, and how heartwarming that is. So that's a very nice. And then there's, a Mickey.
So wait, Mickey gets a box?
Well, it's a gold
And
box.
she gets a chain.
And she gets a gold chain, yeah.
I thought it was just like a regular
It's
box.
not about the gift that they got, it's the fact that they were
They
willing
were
to
willing
give
to
up
sacrifice
their
their
most prized possession
possessions. Yes, I
to
understand,
help each
whatever.
other.
It's
Because she was supposed to get her bonus and she didn't get her bonus, and
Right.
he basically gave up all of his money. He was peddling on the street by playing the harmonica to get toys for kids because the fireman concert wasn't doing so well because they had to go to fight a fire.
Right.
So he was playing while people threw in toys. That's what happened happened there. And so those are very heartwarming stories. And then there's a Mickey Christmas Carol, which falls under the whole Christmas carols, which
Yeah.
are a lot of fun to...
Well, if
Yeah.
you're talking about Christmas carols, might as well put in the Muppet Christmas Carol.
Yeah, it's along those lines, but this one's, I think, even shorter.
And then there's the Flintstone Christmas Carol.
That one is weird.
I would like to put in Scrooged,
Yes.
the Bill Murray one,
Yes.
the more modernized Bill Murray one, and that was freaky when I saw it as a kid. But I always loved watching it.
Which is currently available on Netflix if you want to check it out.
So I'm pretty sure we missed a whole bunch of Christmas specials.
For sure.
But then again, Christmas will come again next year. Unless, some Mayan calendar bullshit.
But no, that was 2 years ago, so don't worry.
And that also meant that they were getting a new calendar. That's all.
Ooh.
Well, yeah, because everything in the Mayan calendar is cyclical, so obviously when the giant cycle ends, a new one begins.
Exactly.
No!
Yes!
So you mean the world's not ending? We're just getting a new calendar?
Yes.
What?
Basically,
How did we misinterpret that?
basically, you can use the same calendar.
Sacre bleu. Anyway, so we will revisit the topic probably again in the future.
Next year.
Hopefully next year.
Christmas special in July, yes!
Premonition. Goat Podcast. R.I.P. 2015.
Whoa.
What's with you and Death this whole time?
You're very macabre today.
I don't know why.
Humbug right
it's-
up to the beginning.
It spread. It totally spread.
So be sure to share some of your favorite holiday specials with us on our Facebook page.
Write to us, please!
Send us some emails about that too. We definitely want to read some of those.
Seb wants to read them all.
Seb needs to learn his ABCs. He
Ouch.
needs your help.
I don't read no good.
So join us in the next segment where we will give you the rest of our info. And that was episode 7 at Geeking Out at the Tower podcast. If you want to send us an email, you can send that at goattcast@gmail.com. You can follow us on Twitter at goattcast. You can also find us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/goattcast. We're also on iTunes. Just look for Geeking Out at the Tower podcast.
Festivus miracle.
And you can find all of this information on our website at goattcast.wordpress.com. We won't be having an episode next week, but we'll hopefully be releasing some fun bonus material like behind the scenes or I don't know what will
Just
happen.
us messing around.
Things like that.
There's quite a bit of that.
So look forward to it.
Hours and hours of content.
And we'll be back in the new year, or at least the week after that, with a...
That's still in the new year, by the way.
I'm just making sure. I'm covering all my bases. And we'll be back in the new year with a 2014 roundup, where we will talk about our fave games, TV, movie, and all of that sort.
A review.
So I'm your host, Andrew, and today I was joined by...
Wendell.
Kevin.
Keith.
Sad.
Thanks. Have a good time. Happy holidays. Merry Festivus for the rest of us. Merry Christmas. Happy Kwanzaa. Happy Hanukkah and whatnot.
Merry
All the
happy.
happy cheers.
And Merry Happy.